this is Shannon McTighe with Shannon McTighe Photography. I just wanted to take you from start to finish with this photo using the Fleetwood collection with Greater Than Gatsby. So like I've said in previous videos, the Fleetwood collection is like the sister pack to the Bohemian Rhapsody actions that were released earlier this year. They're also kind of like a build your own preset, a stackable preset, which is really unique and something that I really love to help you obtain the colors that you're looking for in all the different scenarios of light, angles, etc. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the exposure adjustment section. And so this section, you can make it darker, leave it as is, or you can make it brighter depending on how you shot the photo. For this one, I'm going to use the +2. I can always come back and change that later if I find that to be too bright or not bright enough, but I'm going to leave it here for now. I'm going to drop down to the adaptive brushwork section. This area it has 3 subject lights, which is just for your subject. It's kind of like a light enhancement to your subject. There's subject bright, which is obviously going to be way brighter. Out of these, for this image, I'm going to use subject light. I just want it a little bit enhanced. I'm also going to add some warmth to this photo. This photo was taken right at the sun had just dipped behind the mountains. So we tend to either have really harsh light and then maybe 5 minutes of a true golden hour, and then it's blue hour for quite a while once it dips behind the mountains. So I'm going to click on subject light warm to warm my image up. When I'm in blue hour, I tend to pick warm or magenta depending on what my subjects look like. And then I'm going to drop down to the background. And so background boost is going to boost the colors a bit brighter, whereas depth is also going to increase the colors, but it's going to deepen those colors, so bring them down a little bit. So the purpose of this photo, I'm going to do warm. I'm going to warm up the whole image. I'm going to do background depth warmth and click on that. Then I'm going to go down. If I had a sky that I really wanted to play with, I could use any of these. Each one tells you really when to use it. So you can do a clean recovery. That's kind of the safest one. Like if you're ever unsure, that's a great one. Radiant warmth is if you have a big sunset, very warm sky. Mountain chill would be perfect for this. If I had like clouds, it'll help make it bluer. Stormy gray, I use that obviously for stormy skies, but I will sometimes use the stormy gray when I have even regular skies. It does some really cool things. I love this one. And then cotton candy when you get those blue and pink skies. So the next thing we do is jump down to the clean tone enhancement. This is where you can kind of stack your presets. So between this section called clean tone enhancements and the artistic color grading. So clean tone enhancements, you can pick one of these presets to put onto your image. So for this one, I think I'm going to do, if I remember, let's see which one I like. Yeah, I love snow-covered hills on this one. It does make the grass more saturated than my liking, but I can fix that with the brushes in just a bit. And so now that I have done that, I'm going to go down to artistic color grading section, and I'm going to pick which one that I like for this one, which for me, I personally like Build My Life because it adds a little more warmth. Again, it made the grass even more saturated, but I'll take care of that. So at this point, you can be done with your presets, or you can go back and say, you know what, I actually want to do Took My Love, or you know what, maybe I want to do Brought Me Down instead, or maybe I want to change one of the artistic color grading, or you could even go back and now play with brighter, darker. So have fun with it, play around with it, see which one works for you. I did the +2. I also like the +1, but I'm going to leave this one as is. Now I'm going to go ahead and do some brush work. That way it's going to help tailor the image to get it more specific to what I'm looking for. So the first thing I want to do is take care of this grass. So I'm going to come over here to the brushes. And you'll notice these 2 brushes. This was your background and your subject from earlier. I'm going to create a new mask. And I'm just going to get a big brush for this one. Make sure my feather is turned up. I personally like it feathered out so you don't see demarcated lines anywhere. And I am going to just start painting all over the grass. And I don't care if I go over my subject because I can take it off of them very easily. I'll go over the grass. And you'll notice that everything is red. That is my overlay to show me exactly what I'm affecting. And that's right here. And I've clicked it red. You can click on it and change it to any color, or if you don't want to see an overlay, just click it off. And so now I have all that highlighted. I'll come right over here and I'm going to drop down and I'm going to click on color drop. And that's going to really desaturate those greens, but obviously it desaturated my subjects too. So I'm going to click subtract subjects. So I'm subtracting it from my subject. So now it's just the greens that have been desaturated. So this is before, this is after. If it desaturates any of it too much, just come over here and drop the amount down. So I'll probably drop it down to like 70. And then that brings a little bit of green back. But what I want is like a warmer green. So I'm going to create a mask, click on a brush, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to paint over my grass again and my subjects to make my life easy. I'm not going to try to go around my subjects. And once that's painted, I'm going to go ahead and subtract the subjects. And now I'm going to click on warm up. And this is going to warm up that grass, so it's more of a warm green. And obviously, if it's a little too much, just drop your amount down. So for me, I'll drop it down to like 45 there. And so if I turn both the warm up and the desaturate down, we went from kind of a neon bluish green. And if I turn it back on, it's more of a warm green now. So the next thing I want to do is I want to bring out the sunlight that's over here that's setting behind the mountain. So I'm going to create a new mask, get a radial gradient, and extend it right there. From here, I am going to pick, you have two different ones for the sun. You can do soft sunlight and bright sunlight. I personally want the soft sunlight because it's going to be like a warm haze. So I'll click on that. And I do love what it did to the image. I'm going to move it around a little bit, maybe make it a little smaller. I'm going to subtract it off my subjects. If you like it on the face, you can leave it as is. I just want it off for her. And then I'm going to lower my amount down, lower it to about 60. So this is with the light off, and this is with the light on. Next, I am going to enhance my mountain. This mountain actually was super colorful and really neat, but you can't see it as well in this image because we had the sunlight coming through from the left side here down. So I'm going to create a new mask, get a linear gradient, and go from top to the bottom of the mountain there. And under here, I'm going to go to Dehaze, and this is going to help fix that hazy look. It's going to really give a pop of color. And it looks good on the mountain, obviously too much on her, so I'm going to click subtract subject. And you can see this is before, and this is after. Again, if it's too much, just lower the amount right here. The next thing I'm going to do is sharpen my details. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to select all the people. For me, this is easier because if I go to copy and paste all these settings onto another photo in Lightroom, it'll copy and paste it onto those photos. So I'm going to click on, let's do iris and pupils, lips, close. I think I'll stick with that. Create a mask. And then I'm going to go to sharpen details. It's just going to sharpen those little details for me. And I love that. The next thing I want to do, and this is just me being a little bit picky, but if you look right here, you can see that there's like a fog. And so that happens often, especially in early mornings or evening shoots. Sometimes you get the fog at the bottom of the mountain here. So I want to bring that fog out. So I'm going to create a new mask, radial gradient, and I'm just going to make like a long oval right here. Oops. There we go. And then I'm going to click on the one that says Haze Fog. And you can see it put a nice haze down here, but it went over them. Again, subtract, select your subject, and it'll take it off your subject. There you go. And then if I turn it off and on, this is off. And this is on. And you can see it just really brought out that fog that's there naturally. And then the last thing I want to do is I just really want to show off their dresses a little bit and dodge and burn. So they're pretty bright. I'm probably not going to dodge them, but I am going to burn the creases of the dresses. So to do that, I'm going to create a new mask, get a brush. I'm going to click on Burn Shadows, make my size pretty small. Again, I like to feather it. And I'm just going to start burning in between the creases here. And if anything ever gets too dark, remember you can always lower the opacity of it. Oops. So what I did is, I think I brought that down, which I didn't mean to do. Yeah, you can see me moving it around, so let me bring that back where it goes. There we go. I'll keep just bringing out the creases. Perfect, so I'm going to let my Lightroom catch up. It's still adding the little brushwork I did. Alrighty, so if I turn this off, you look at their dresses, and this is off, and then this is back on, you can see it really brought out the creases in the dresses, which just really makes them stand out again. So I'm going to go ahead and turn those off. And so at this point, you can call it done. Thank you for having me. I hope you learned a lot with it. If you want any further information on this, or you're interested in the Fleetwood collection, please go to www.greaterthangotspeed.com.